Is it brought to light how dangerous conflicts of interest are with donors, or when you are traveling in the market territory, how you can, you can definitely drift from your mission and why you're doing something. And I think I think the answer is more that we have to have very, very strong principles and values, and that we have to bring those to our market players. As nonprofits have competed with for-profits in a competitive bidding and lost out, or when they've won, that they sort of lose their capabilities and competencies to speak truth to power. And that's I think that article is really interesting, because I think there's no question there's a correlation to a loss of accountability in mechanisms in our democracy. I don't think it's causal. I think it has more to do, with a whole lot of other things, in that we've got, tremendous, powerful other interests in corporations and others who are pressing on government and actually have tremendous dollars to be able to shape public policy. We have growing inequalities and things that we've held very precious to us in terms of social mobility and other things that are being affected. Just the level of productivity and number of people working, number of hours, and how you have time for your communities. And I mean, there's so many factors that are affecting civil society, education, monopolization of the media. I mean, one could go on and on. So I don't think that the poor nonprofits who are trying to do these great jobs that they're doing that are very complex are the reason that we've lost our civil society. So but I do think we have to kind of accept that we're at a moment where the market is a very, very powerful force. The river is rushing us all, and our job is to be eddying currents that help us think about how to be a better species. And you need places, and you need respected places where that can happen, and we have a big job to do. And I think if we manage to blend, which in effect is what that article was saying was happening in the marketization, we have a job to blend over to the market, meaning our values and principles need to go over there. And I think they are. I mean, I think there's more recognition that we're 7 billion people on this planet. Sustainability is critical. We can drive, a very fast market engine, but there's an end point on the planet. We know how big we are, and we know how many people we have to feed, and we know if we create tremendous inequalities that's not, eventually that's not going to work. It never has in the cycles of history. So it would be wiser to be wiser. So I think what is interesting about working in the nonprofit sector are the problems. They're fascinating problems. They're interesting and they're complex. And I think we need some of the innovation from the market sector, who've spent a lot of money because they've had a lot of capital on how to do organizational development and all sorts of things to get things to do what they do, which is a very narrow interest, which is return on equity. We need to bring some of that over to these very, very complex problems.